are interviewing Jav Sid for our Creative Side Businesses for Women Summit. So welcome, Jav. It's nice to see you here.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and honor to be a part of this amazing summit.
Excited. I'm really excited to hear what you have to talk about because I really don't know a lot about this topic and I am excited to learn more. So Jav, for those of you who don't know her, she is a SVG business coach. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry, you're not alone. We're going to figure it out together. And she teaches crafters with a full-time job how to design and sell SVG cut files to make passive income. So today your topic is called Making Passive Income from SVG cut files. And I really need to start with the basics here. So tell everybody, for those of us who don't know what it is, what is an SVG file?
Sure. So in very simple terms, basically SVG is just a file format like any other, like a JPEG, like a PNG. But the difference is that SVGs are vector-based file. That means they are editable in an illustration software. What is an illustration software? A software like Adobe or Affinity Designer or Inkscape. And SVG is the main file type that you use with a Cricut or a Silhouette cutting machine to cut out your projects. So you design the file, you upload it on Cricut Design Space, which is the software that comes with the Cricut cutting machine. And then you cut it out using the machine. So the machine only reads certain types of files, and one of them is an SVG file. And if the good thing about SVG is that you can design it in multiple layers. Like if you're designing a text, you can, let's say you have a quote which says, "Hello, sunshine," and you want hello in a different color and sunshine in a different color. Then you can do that with the help of an SVG. You can have two different colors, two different layers. You can create 3D objects. You can design SVGs for 3D objects, for example, like a cart or a gift box or a shadow box. You can do a lot of things with SVGs.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now. Okay, that's great. So when you print them out, so you do the printing or you just do the designing of it?
You design it and then you send the file to the Cricut app and then it cuts it out. So
and it puts it on what? What is it that it's printing it on?
it's not printing, it's cutting it. It's directly just going to cut it out using the blade.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you load a paper in the cutting machine, or you load a wood, acrylic. You can work with a ton of different types of materials. You can work with a acetate and a very thin type of wood. And you just load the material into the cutting machine and it will just cut it out for you.
Beautiful. Okay, so this is a very creative side business. How the heck did you get started in this? Did it start as a hobby and it just turned into something bigger, or did you have this master plan right from the beginning?
And no, I did not have a master plan at all. So it was just based on the trend. So basically, I got started like 8 years ago. I just finished high school and I wanted to make some extra money so I could go to an Ivy League college, but but it didn't turn out that way. So anyway, so I started off by selling handmade bags. I thought that I could make some extra cash, but it was a complete flop. So I started my college after that, and I was doing honors in biotechnology, and I wanted a business model that would fit in my schedule, because when you are a science student, you're doing honors, you spend half of your day at the campus. You have labs, you have classes, and I didn't have the energy or the time to come back and work on handmade bags.
Right.
And I needed a business that that I could just step away from when I had exams or assignments to work on. So I decided to, instead of selling handmade bags, to switch to selling handmade bag sewing patterns, something digital, something passive, something that won't require a ton of effort.
Mhm.
And I was doing that until 2018. And in 2018, I got my first Cricut cutting machine. And I was blown away with the stuff that you can do with your Cricut. Like, I was always crazy about paper crafts, but I never really attempted them because I didn't like using scissors to cut all the materials. So when I got my Cricut, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the time to start doing paper crafting.
Yes.
So, and that's how I started making SVG cut files. And it was very easy for me to switch from designing digital sewing patterns to designing SVG cut files, because when you're creating sewing patterns, you have to be very accurate by a centimeter, by a 0.5 inch, because if you're a little bit off, the whole pattern is a disaster, right? So, but in SVGs, you have all the freedom to, you don't have to be so accurate with your measurements. That's the whole thing. So I was just loving the whole process, and I got into it and I saw immediate success.
Mhm.
And here I am.
That's remarkable. Now, do you need to have a lot of design experience in order to do something like this?
Not at all. That's the good thing about SVGs. Like, there are so many different types of SVGs that you can make. You absolutely do not need any kind of design experience, because even if you can't draw, like, a lot of people think that you need to be able to, you need to have some artistic skills to draw out everything,
Right.
but you don't, because you can make SVGs for gift boxes. You don't need any drawing for that. You just need to know how to use the software to create that rectangular shape. That's all you need. You can create SVGs for cards. You can use a text and cut it out in a card, and you can create a card SVG. So there are a ton of different SVGs that you can make, and you need absolutely no artistic skills to do that.
Hmm, interesting. That's good to know. And so, let's say I wanted to get started in this type of a business. What types of materials do I need to get started?
So you would just need an illustration software to begin with. And if you have a Cricut, that's a bonus, because I have some clients who do not even own the Cricut, and they hire other people to do the cutting for them. So basically, you just need an illustration software and the willingness to learn and the time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. So, what is the scope of an SVG business?
So right now, SVG industry is just booming. If you just go to Google Trends, this is something I like to do.
Ah, yes.
And before you start any kind of business, you're supposed to check what is the demand in the market. So I like to go to Google Trends. And if you just type in SVGs, you will see that the trend for SVGs is going upwards. In the past few years, the demand for SVGs has been growing and growing. And there's a prediction that by 2025, the cutting machine industry is going to be worth $1 billion. So this industry is still new, because there are only a couple of companies who are selling cutting machines. I'm 100% sure there are more companies are going to pop up. Recently, in just past 1 to 2 years, we have seen a huge boom in the laser cutting industry. Glowforge, which is another one of the cutting machine which cuts wood, it has boomed during the COVID session. It has skyrocketed. Their sales have skyrocketed, and we have seen a ton of new SVG shops selling laser cut design, selling wooden designs that you can cut on wood. So yes, there's a huge market out there, and this industry is still, we're still in the starting.
Right.
And considering the types of SVGs that you can make, the growth, I mean, the growth you can expect is just crazy. And I have some clients who started their shop just a couple of months ago, and their sales are, they're smashing their sales record. Last month, a lot of them had like around 50 to 60 sales. This month, they have doubled, 100 plus. They have gone way above. Yep.
Oh my God, that's
So
amazing. And so are people like, are they having to market like crazy to find these people, or people just coming to them?
people are just coming to them on Etsy
Wow, that's amazing.
through Google search, through SEO,
Hmm.
through shop recommendations,
Wow.
and by promoting their designs on Instagram, people are just going for their designs.
Wow. Can you give us like 5 examples of things that you can make with an SVG cut file?
Yeah, so you can, one of the simplest things that you can do is you can cut out a quote and put it on your t-shirt, or you can put it on a mug, or you can put it on a plaque. That's the simplest thing. Second, you can create 3D objects. I wish I had taken something out to show. You can create a 3D layered projects. You can create butterflies. You can create flowers. You can create cards. Did I mention cards earlier? You can create like 3D objects like a house, or um, a shopping cart, or a castle with just papers. You can cut it out, you can assemble it, and it's ready to go.
That's amazing. So, question for you. So, are you, if you were to do this business, are you only looking for local customers, or can you expand and like, is it something you can ship out to people, or is it all like, explain that one?
So the good thing about this, everything is digital. Everything is digital. You just design the file and you upload it on your Etsy store, and people are going to buy it. They're going to download it. They're going to cut it out using their cutting machine. So everything is digital. It's one and done. You design it once, you sell it for your life. You create one design, you sell a million copies of it. So that's the most amazing part. You literally make money in your sleep. So I have a blog where I share free SVG cut files. I have 2 shops, and this year I haven't touched any of it, and I've made around $20,000 on autopilot without doing anything, literally.
That's
So
phenomenal.
that's the beauty of this business.
Wow, this is an industry I had no idea even existed. It's just, it's phenomenal. Now, so you don't need experience to start. How do you learn though? You just, is there like instructions from the software program? How do you learn how to do it?
So of course you gotta learn from someone who's been there, done that. That's the best way if you want to have a successful business. Or else, if you're just doing it for fun, it's easy to just go to YouTube and check out different videos. However, if you're doing it for your business and you need a step-by-step formula, somebody who can critique your work and tell you where to improve and how to present your files in a way that people actually come and buy them, people actually are interested in them. If you want to work, or if you have like specific goals that you want to achieve, like I want to start making $500 from this business in 6 months, or I want to make enough money to cut down my hours in the next 12 months. If you have goals like that, then it's best to just hire a coach or work with someone who has been there, done that, and who can show you the way so that you don't make the mistakes and you're off on your path uh, earlier without having to go through all those hoops and struggles.
Right. And I don't know if you're able to tell us this, but I know that there's a lot of people wondering this question: is how much money can someone expect to earn from something like this?
If you are dedicated and if you put in the time and the effort, you can make six figures from this business. I know a couple of designers who have been in the industry and they have been designing for like since 2015, since 2016. And now their shops are so popular. They are making six figures if you do the math. So yeah, there's a huge opportunity here for those who have the time and who love being creative.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're dedicated, then you can definitely make a ton from this.
That's awesome. So, what do you find is the biggest mistake that people make when they're starting an SVG business? What do you see time and time again?
So I see most of the common mistakes is number one, people don't spend the time learning the software. They just jump into designing, and the first design they create, they're ready to sell it. And we are in that, in like the timeline of this industry, like we are in a time where you basic designs are not really liked, or people are not really interested in buying the basic designs. People want something that is more sophisticated, something that is more which looks like it has been, it's a work of a designer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, what they do is they just try to DIY everything, and they create very basic designs which nobody is interested in buying. And then they try to sell it in their shops and it doesn't work out. And then they come to me and they say, oh, this business is a flop. It doesn't work. Honey, you got to do it the right way for it to work. Only then it's going to work. You got to understand what the demand is in the market right now, because a lot of people can just, everyone is crafty, everyone is creative. They can just put simple designs together, but people want something that they can't do themselves, you know. They want to spend money. You want to spend money on something you can't do, something that looks unique and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the number one mistake I see a lot of people make.
Mm-hmm.
So the second mistake I see is that people don't do the market research. What's the demand? What are people looking for? If you just draw and try to sell things that you feel like doing, it's not going to work. You have to understand what's the demand in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is people don't want to take help.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lot of people are just crafters and creatives, and we have this DIY mentality. I can do this. I'm going to do this. If she can do it, I can do it too. And a lot of time it hurts your business rather than help it in growing, because you spend the amount of time you spend in trying to DIY, trying to learn it on your own. You could be spending that time creating your own beautiful designs rather than starting from scratch. So it's best to just go out there and ask for help, learn from someone who has been there and done that, so you can be making money in just 1 to 2 months rather than spending 2 to 3 years trying to figure things out yourselves.
That's right. Yeah, that's a very good point. So, what would be the quickest way to start making money from SVG cut files?
The quickest way would be to um I'm just gonna say it because I've experienced this myself. Like the moment I hire a coach, I see immediate return. I see immediate success. So based on my experience, this is what I'm gonna recommend. If you want to do this as a business, this is a creative business summit. So I'm sure you're here
Mm-hmm.
because you want a business. So if you want a business, go and look for someone who has been there, done that, and take their help, learn from them. And within 30 days, your shop will be up and you'll be selling SVG cut files.
30 days. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you are offering a free gift to all of our listeners. You've called it Six Figure SVG Business Masterclass. So tell us what that's all about.
So this is a quick masterclass to introduce everyone to what are SVGs, what the basics of SVGs, the fundamentals that you need to know before you step into the industry. And I share my 4-step framework that I have tried and tested, that my clients have tried and tested for launching your business that is 100% going to be successful in the future. So I break down each of those steps. It's called the framework is called ULAD, and once you join the masterclass, you'll understand what each of these acronyms stand for. ULAD, and that is something I'll leave as a mystery for people to check out later.
Okay.
And yeah, so I take you through the steps. It's not a class where you learn how to design SVGs because that's very technical, and you need to have like a more exposure to that. It's not something you can learn in 1 hour, but it will tell you what steps you need to take to start a successful SVG business.
That's awesome. And you've also got something up your sleeve. So you are also offering a bonus for all the people in our summit that have upgraded to become a VIP member. And so
Mhm.
your bonus is called Designing Text-Based SVG. So, and that's got a value of 197. So why don't you tell us what that's all about?
Sure. So, like I mentioned earlier, there are a ton of different types of SVGs that you can make. Designing text SVGs is the very basic of the whole SVG designing part. It's very straightforward, it's very easy. You just need to learn how to work with text, how to create like a happy birthday SVG or quote based SVG. So these are very simple. And in the course, in the course, I've shared how to work with fonts, how to work with the whole typography, which is another kind of art.
Mm,
Excuse me, typography, which is you need to understand how to pair fonts together, how to modify fonts so that they look good together, uh, the artistic side of working with fonts. So because if you understand that, you can create beautiful text-based SVGs to put on your t-shirts, to put on your mugs. So that's what I've covered in that course. uh, and it's designed for anybody who people with literally zero experience. You go to the course, you learn the basics of working with fonts and uh, how to pair fonts, the do's and don'ts, what mistakes to avoid, and then I show you how to use that knowledge to create text-based SVG designs in the illustration software, which is Affinity Designer.
beautiful. Those are some great bonuses you've got there. And so if people wanted to reach out to you after, I'm going to have all the links on this page. But where do you like to hang out on the socials? Where's your favorite spot?
My favorite spot, hands down, is Instagram. I
Say
love
less.
hanging out on Instagram. We do weekly IG lives. We do we have fun reels that you can check out, and yeah, we have a ton of fun stuff going on over there, so come and say hi.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. And is there anything you want to leave our listeners with? Any final thoughts?
Yes, I just wanted to say a lot of people come to me and they say, I don't feel like I'm creative enough to do this. I don't feel like I'm artistic enough to do it. Trust me, if you really want to do something, you can totally do it. You can train your mind to be artistic. You can train your mind to be creative. It's just that you need to have the willingness to take action. Once you have that in place, r- everything else is just going to fall in place on its own. So don't be scared, just do it.
Perfect advice. Wonderful. Well, it was a pleasure to have you here, Jav, and I really appreciate all your insight into this I'm calling it a new industry because I hadn't really heard of it before. So I'm very excited to have learned what I've learned today. And thank you so much for your time.